we are the door hardware frame provider. Locks, closers, exit devices, overhead stops, anything that's typically attached to your door is going to be provided by us. And that's including the frame, hinges, everything. The schedule that I gave you there this is our schedule from the job. So when you get into the hardware schedule, and this is kind of for the maintenance guys, there's hardware sets, all of our hardware sets, everything that we've done on our key schedules and our hardware sets, this number up here is architectural blueprint numbers. Whatever's on the blueprint is what we have. That's what we followed because it's the most consistent number for us, okay? Listed below each one is all the hardware that's associated with that door. Whether it be continuous hinge, exit devices, the cylinders are usually associated with the locks, things like that. But this is all of the hardware that's associated with door X1C9, as we call it off of the blueprint. So if there's ever a question as to what's there, if you're calling us for maintenance or something else, these are the numbers that we refer to and that we would look at in our schedule if there was something. So, but there's, a listing of all the hardware in those sets throughout the hardware schedule. The rest of the stuff that's in there, frame types, everything else, are not going to be that relevant to you. The main thing is just hardware parts. So if you have some questions that we could focus towards, I know there was questions about the key schedule.
So the question is, the keys were coded according to the construction?
The keys are coded according to the construction drawings, which is what Cleveland Icon bid off of, and which is what the building was really constructed from.
Right.
However, there was a change in construction room numbers to permanent room numbers in probably a half a dozen, maybe a dozen rooms.
Mm-hmm.
The issue that we're having with the key schedule is the key schedule has the construction numbers on them, but when the school district goes to look at the room and the room number, those numbers that had changed from construction numbers to permanent room numbers are not on the key schedule, so they cannot find what keys go to those doors where the room numbers were changed through the course of the project. There was an ASI 1, ASI 1 Revision 1, ASI 1 Revision 2, which captured those room number changes. The issue is we need the keying schedule to show those room numbers with the permanent room numbers, so when they go to reference a room and a key with that room, it's all coordinated, so they don't have to be working through construction number, is this a construction number, is this a permanent room number? The key schedule needs to have all permanent room numbers on them, so that when they look at room 112, 112 is in fact this room, not, it was construction 112 across the hall.
Right.
Okay.
So that's the end user's dilemma.
Right.
Okay. I guess I'll have to talk to Ron and see how we can resolve that. It's not something typically we do. I explained earlier, we hand over those schedules according to the architectural blueprint. We go by blueprint opening. We don't go by room numbers at all because typically they don't match a large percentage of the time.
Interestingly, in this job, TDA made it a point to match. There was one in the board office, the treasurer's room and the assistant treasurer's room. The door numbers were different than what the permanent room numbers were, and they changed the room numbers to match with the door numbers.
Right, but, and what you're saying is Ron has something that shows that?
Yeah, he's got the ASI drawings, and I resent them to him yesterday. And I understand there's an issue within your programming system where you gotta dive way down in to make that happen.
Well, we can't change anything. I don't know that they can change anything in here. All I can tell you is what we would probably do is take the key schedule that we have, rewrite it, send it to you. If that's what it is, I guess, I don't.
And that's all they're looking
That's
for.
all
They
they
just want to be able to say,
That would be perfect.
AA5 key will open this door and they can walk through. Actually, that door and it works.
I'll see what I can do. I'll talk to Ron. Yeah, I mean, it's.
We were trying to, yesterday work with Dr. Willis and open some doors and stuff, and Dr. Willis and Dave had the sheets. I had my phone looking for room numbers, trying to coordinate. This room, key doesn't work in this room, what's the issue? Then let's see what the permanent room number is, and it was different.
Well, I mean, if we have a dozen doors or something, can't we just look at not right now, but when we're done with this, just take the print and take the schedule and look and it's door schedule, door opening number, we're done. I mean, that's it.
We can do that. You
Yeah.
guys- We want Cleveland Bicon to do that, because we don't want to be marking drawings up and we make mistakes. And we want you guys, because that's your key schedule, to put the permanent room numbers with it.
Okay, all right. I guess we'll have to get you another key schedule. You know,
We'll work with that.
yeah,
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll assist you, but we want you guys to take the lead on doing that.
okay.
Okay, I got a question.
Yes,
The teacher that's in this room has a key for her door. Does this key fit the restroom doors, or is there a separate key for the restroom door?
I'm unaware.
I know the answer.
Okay.
Restroom doors do not have keys like classroom doors. They don't have keys at all.
So they're probably just
Except
private.
for the emergency, if we need to get in there. When you go, restrooms are open, so when you go into the restroom, you lock it.
So
But
potentially a student could go into the staff restroom.
Yes. And then there's this big key that, it's not a regular key, you slide it into the little slit and open it up. And that was provided for the MH room, because they have a restroom in case one of the kids get in there and get locked in or intentionally lock themselves in, the teacher can get in there.
And the teacher's lounge is the same way, no key?
The teacher's lounge 206 has a key.
Okay, so the teacher that's in this room, her key will fit the teacher's lounge.
The teacher's lounge is one of the issues, because the teacher's lounge is an issue. We'll deal with that, and I can't remember what it was. It is permanently locked, that was the issue.
Right.
The teacher's lounge, and that's what I needed to understand, the hierarchy, or I call it the method to the madness. So the teacher's lounge stays permanently locked. It doesn't have a side slit like that.
Right, it has no toggle, it's a
It has-
storeroom function.
And it's a storeroom function, that's what I
Right.
said. It has the same lock as all storerooms, which I was wondering, well, I guess, I don't know if there's anything to do about that. So the teacher's lounge stays permanently locked.
Correct. These are not multi-function locks. We can't change the functions on them. You'd have to change the lock body. All the functions are specified by the architect, and we just provide per the spec.
All right, so it was drawn that that teacher's lounge would stay permanently locked,
Right.
just like all storage rooms.
Yeah, architect, when they draw up the specs and specify the hardware sets, they provide the functions. Now, we provide the maker, the model,
All right,
things
so
like
then I
that.
guess
but-
my issue is not with you guys, it's with the architect, because if it has a
Correct.
storage, if it has the storage function.
Well, they
then
call
that
it a
means-
storeroom. These are just
If it has the
classic.
storage function, so then that means that you need the teacher's key to get in. So all teachers' keys are exactly the same. That means that every teacher can get into all of our storage rooms. That was
No. You're,
according to the schedule.
okay.
Key
Schedule.
of room 118.
Okay, let me get to the schedule. Oh, no, where did it show?
It's an AA5 key.
All right,
That's a storage room.
118. We talking about this schedule? Yeah, mm-hmm. There you go. So 118 is not under that set. Well, there it is, yep,
There it is.
okay.
That's a storage room. That's
Right.
my storage room. So every teacher can get into my storage room.
Somebody specified it that way, I can't remember. Usually Ron sits down, I had it somewhere, whoever he sat down with. It's not you guys, it's usually the school that they go over the schedule with when they set this up, right?
121 is a storage room. That's the technology
Okay.
storage room. So every teacher can get into that.
Right.
Okay.
With the owners or their reps, and the keying is specified at that time, and then he makes up a schedule that he sends out for approval.
Yeah, we did sit down and we said that every teacher's classroom door key would be the same, because that's what we had over there.
Okay.
But we never said that teachers' keys would open every storage door.
Okay?
So every teacher in this school, their key will fit every other teacher.
Yes, always has, always will. That's what we had at the old school.
It was only like that because people, long before we got here,
Okay, but
they all master keys.
Marnisha sat at the meeting
Okay.
and Marnisha said, yes, every
Okay.
teacher's key opens every teacher's door.
Right, but that's not the original way that was set up,
That's
just so
fine.
you know.
That's how it's
But that's the way it's set up over here, okay. Can you explain to me, like AA4, there's 136, 135, 151.1,
Mm-hmm.
151.2, what is, that's a classroom that has a
No, those
door?
are, and I understand that, and I'll do that training. I need to understand the hierarchy. These are room numbers or storage rooms?
These
and
are, well, you keep referring to them as room numbers. Like I said, we do not refer them to as room numbers.
They're open.
We go by architectural blueprint opening numbers. If you look on the blueprint, where the door is, there'll be a small circle with a number. That's the number that these are referred to.
Right, and Jeff just asked that you all would reconcile this to room numbers.
Right,
Okay.
Right.
But for my people's sake, I understand, we had a meeting, Bill was there, supervisor was there, we had a meeting with Fred, with Jeff, with Dave, and they explained control key, A key, double A key, A1. So I got that.
mm-hmm,
I just need to understand functionality, because I need to understand which doors are always locked, so now I hear. Storage rooms are always locked, however, every teacher has a key to all storage rooms. I also had the question, and Jeff walked with me yesterday, that whole board vestibule. 104 is the door that leads into the boardroom, and we can go there. That has one of these.
mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't. You can put the key in and turn it, and it can
Lock
stay
and unlock.
permanently open or permanently locked.
So quick note. What you're calling, all storerooms have storeroom locks. When I say it's a storeroom function lock,
Right.
these are general terms used by the hardware
Okay,
industry.
that's fine.
There's a storeroom function lock, classroom function, which is key locks and unlocks, office function, which has a toggle, such as these do. These are general terms that we use. I can say, this is an office function lock, it's on a classroom, okay? Because it's a classroom, it doesn't have a classroom function. Just because I'm using that term, that's
Okay.
just because I know what the lock is.
So tell me again what a classroom function.
Classroom function, your key locks and unlocks the door.
But you
Okay.
can't click it and permanently unlock it.
Yes, it will unlock the door or it will lock the door. It will place it in either condition. Okay? Rotation of that key will either unlock your outside lever or lock your outside lever.
Like your house door.
No, because you don't do that. Well, that's don't compare residential. That's cheap locks. They're bad examples. A rotation of the key will lock the door, and always when I say lock the door, I'm always talking about the secure side, the outside of the door. You always have egress through the door. Okay, you can always get out. So rotating that key, and typically these were called classroom locks, and the idea was that students cannot throw a toggle, throw a thumb, turn anything else. You have to have a key to physically lock or unlock that door. That way the teacher can't step outside. Kids run over, hit the button, shut the door, they lock the teacher out.
Okay,
That's why they have classroom locks. Nothing but a key locks or unlocks that.
so what's this one called?
This is an office function. It has a toggle on the edge of the door. The key will typically allow you to open the door and gain access, but it will not unlock the door. It will retract the latch, but it will not unlock the door. Throwing the toggle unlocks the door.
Question,
Yes.
and this is probably at the architect level. Why did we put an office lock on a classroom? This has never been drawn to be an office. And I'm just asking that question, because that's the disparity I'm finding with classrooms.
Because I'm using the term and you're associating them. It's just an old term used by the hardware industry. These are general classifications. People put all different kinds of things. It depends what the architect specifies.
So
Just
you're
because
saying
we
they
use that,
specified an office function on this?
yes.
That's a James question, because that's what I don't understand. Why
Right.
an office function lock on this area, whatever it is?
Right, but I mean, it could be just called a toggle lock, okay? You know, why did you provide a toggle? Because I'm using that general term, you're kind of cementing it down too much, you know? These are just the general uses of them.
Okay.
So,
the end user is the one that's got to use them, so that's a toggle lock, which you're calling an office function, but other classrooms need the key. Okay? You said another term,
classroom, storeroom, office, those are the three most common.
Storeroom,
Is locked all the time, keyed entry, you can never unlock that door from the outside.
just like the classrooms we were in. So the toggle on the side is called office function.
Correct.
All right, so up, now it's locked.
And like I said, your key will allow you entry. Who has a master?
I do that.
Let's, if you want to pull that, I want to yank you around. If we can use this, I could demonstrate a little bit with it, this and another door nearby. So I just want to double check because every manufacturer does things differently. Yeah. So key will allow you keyed entry through the door. It will retract the latch and allow you in. If your door's in a locked condition, your door remains locked, as he was stating. So if they do this and come in and put their keys down, their door's still locked. Okay, so they have to be aware. Flip your toggle to release the door. Any door when it's locked, whether it's storeroom, office, or classroom, when you lock this door, as you do here, okay, inside always remains open. You always have egress out of the room. You're never locking both sides of the door, even if you have a double cylinder, which we're going to address right up the way. So this is a storeroom lock, most likely. This is going to be a storeroom lock, most likely. Yep. Locked all the time from the outside. You have no toggle on the edge of the door. Key allows you retraction to enter, but the door is never unlocked. Okay, so it's locked all the time. You cannot unlock the door. Okay, outside 360-degree rotation will lock your door. All right, 360 back will unlock your door. So it's classroom function, key locks or unlocks the door. There is no toggle on the edge of the door. It's done by the key. Now, you have a double cylinder function, it's classroom security function. And the reason being, when your door is unlocked, your inside cylinder, by rotating it, locks the outside of the door. Does the same thing as the outside. It will also unlock the door. So on the inside of your closers, directions.
Right.
Okay.
All your valves, model number, 3 main valves on a closer, which you guys may know. Back check is what you feel on opening. It's that push as you open the door. You never want to close down back check and stop the door with back check. You do want to cushion that opening. In a case like this, you don't want it slamming into the wall as hard. So you can turn up back check and you'll feel that as it opens. If you close it too much or shut it down and physically stop that door, eventually you're going to have an oiled door because it's going to blow the seals. So
Okay.
make sure you don't shut those.
Right here, when you open that door all the way, the arm should stop it from hitting the wall, correct?
It should not. Your arm is not your stop. In a situation like this with a regular arm, this is not a heavy-duty arm. It's not a positive stop arm. If you use that arm to stop it, you're either going to rip it off the frame or damage the closer. There's back check. That's why you have back check. If you turn back check up enough to get that cushioning effect and the closers installed properly, then you're going to have that cushion and it's going to slow that door down. If he wants to push it through there, yes, but we're talking ifs, ands, and buts. Let's talk standard.
The back check is what's holding the door from opening,
It's only the last 10 degrees,
okay?
but you can close it down to where it will come in about 45 degrees. Here, let me grab my Allen. 8-inch Allen does your adjustments. On the top of the door, there's 3 valves. Let's see what they call them here. I think it's SD. SD is sweep, so that's from open until about 3/4 of the way out. Back check comes in, never increase, never close completely. It even says it on it. There's a B for back check. The SD is your sweep range, so from open until your last 5 or 10 degrees. Latching, the L, is your last 5 or 10 degrees.
Which one eases the tension?
The tension is going to be your spring here on the end.
Okay.
All this closer is a giant spring. Every time you open the door, you're winding up a spring. The valves are hydraulic. It's a hydraulic mechanical closer. The hydraulics are to control the door on closing. So you're winding it up with a spring, and the hydraulics are allowing you to maintain the closing. As far as getting this leverage off, one way to do it, so this closer, you've got a wall at 90 degrees. There's different templating you can put it. If this is templated at 90 or 120, I think this is what Norton calls 101 to 120 degrees. If you have that degree of swing, you're going to place it here. The further away from the hinge you place the closer, the more leverage the closer has, so the heavier it's going to feel. In that instance, we loosen up the spring. Here on the end is spring tension. So if you have a 90-degree opening like this, they can back the spring off to make it feel a lot better. So by doing 90 degrees, like I said, you really need to kind of reduce this, because you've already increased leverage, so you need to decrease spring. So feel that? Oh yeah, yeah. You can go, oh gosh.
Well, see, now that's, when you went that far, it opens a little easier.
So you can go
But the
16, we can go 16 and a half rotations on that spring. Because this closer will go anywhere from, I think, a 2'6", I know a 3-foot door, up to a 4-foot door, according to your spring tension.
So now you take too much off now because it's
No,
not latching?
no, now you adjust the valves.
Okay.
Okay, so, you said the door was heavy? You tried the door right now. More reasonable?
More reasonable.
Okay, let's take a little more off.
So you just need to play with it till you feel it's the right tension, basically.
In a situation like this, you're not talking an exterior door. You're not talking excessive pressures and things like that going on. So, one of the other things I see here is the arm. Okay, so the arm's installed wrong. All right, so you'll see kind of distinctly, let me adjust this a little bit so we see it. See if there's any back check. So whenever you're adjusting a closer, always adjust back check first, because it will change your other adjustments. Come on. Is that back check? I'm going to crank it down some. There's latching. Nope, no back check yet.
What does that P do?
So P valve is for a parallel mount. When you have a push side closer, that P valve needs to be closed all the way. Reason being is the way the arm travels is a shorter distance in a parallel than it is a standard mount, which is what this is, or pull side. And so it closes off part of the path and reroutes it so that your adjustments stay right, because you're a shorter arm travel. So on a push side door, if you start seeing an erratic behavior, that's one of the things to look for, to see that that P valve has been closed when that closer was installed. So as I was saying, the 3 valves. On open, back check gives you a cushion, which I felt about here. It starts to cushion or slow down the door a little bit. That way, if somebody goes to go flying through the door, bad board meeting, something, you know, okay? Around there, see, it kind of resists the door and will slow it down some. Sweep, which is your other valve, is from full open until your last 5 or 10 degrees. See how it changed speeds there? The last 5 or 10 degrees is what they call latching. Now me personally, I'm going to slow down sweep more, because we like to have you don't want the door chasing you through the opening. And I'm going to open up latch. So I want a little slower door out here so that when you go through, it's not coming after you or hitting you before you get out the door. Then your last 5 or 10 degrees, you see that little bit of a change. So I can turn that up a little more to get that snap at the end, and then close the door. There's latch, okay? Basically, as I said before, it's a giant spring that you're winding up, and then you're using the hydraulics to control it on the close. If you have high wind conditions, bad air conditioners, whatever things going on, sometimes it needs a little more latch. You can turn up spring tension, which is what we do. Yes, your door is going to be a little bit heavier. So latch is already out. So you will feel a little bit of a stop if you try and back a valve out too far. Don't go any further. You go any further, you're going to lubricate the wall, the door, your hair, everything else. Because when those things blow, it's under pressure and it goes everywhere. And it tastes horrible. Get it in your mouth all the time. I gave it a little more spring tension because we had softened it up a lot, so it wasn't quite latching. So I like to add a little spring tension to add pressure and then use the latch to slow it down. If you happen to have a cylinder that's loose and spinning, you guys know about the lockdown screw?
Sure.
Underneath the face here, you've got one screw that's going to lock this cylinder down.
Sure.
Kind of a common thing. Sometimes in installation it gets missed. Everybody throws it together. Somebody goes to use the key and all of a sudden, boop, there's their cylinder spinning around.
Sure.
So here, we'll just open it up just because.
Where's the control keys at?
In the box,
In what
in
box?
the key box that we have. There are 2 control keys.
Yep, Yale has it. One screw. It's a double bridge. Don't grab your cordless. Don't grab your power drill. Use it by hand. That one sounds pretty good. Just snug it in. There's a nice V in the cylinder, but if you happen to have it, it will happen from time to time. So you know it's between a few hundred locks. We do it at the office. We miss it. So just beware. You come with a cylinder upside down or sideways. Rotate it back around. Snug that down. You should be fine. Levers. You have a Scutcheon trim. Simple 1/8" Allen on the inside. Takes off your levers. Couple turns, take your lever off.
Show them that, what you showed me.
So he's gonna do. If you happen to come up, and it could sneak up on you around here. See, this one's a little over tight. Whenever you pull these levers off, the way to install the levers when you put it with a split spindle, you bottom this out and you knock it, and you back it off. 1, 2, 3. These slots should be on the sides.
Not just a quarter turn?
Not just a quarter turn, 3/4 of a turn.
1, 2,
3. Okay.
Slots on the side.
Slots on the side because that's where your set screw is going to go to and lock into.
Okay.
It's going to give you a better lockdown. You need to have this difference, otherwise, we had a couple storeroom locks here where they threw it together, locked down the spindle. Well, guess what? You lock down this spindle, it's like a solid spindle. Inside's locked just like the outside. Same thing could happen to a classroom. When they go through and check functions here or go to lock, a teacher could lock it and, no, mine locks on the inside.
Any lock shop has those spindles, or do we have to get those through by a
I wouldn't say any lock shop has them. No, I mean, sure, they can get them from Yale. We don't stock them. We're not we are a Yale distributor, but like everybody nowadays, nobody wants to keep anything on the shelf because it costs money in inventory.
This is the way the public comes to a board meeting. And for that to be permanently locked is crazy.
So what does that need to change to a classroom function?
Classroom would probably be ideal. Valves and spring tension. I would back spring tension off some on it, and then get it to latch. Oops. We'll get it the right way. There we go.
All right, so right now this is locked down,
It's dogged, as we call it.
okay? Dog.
That's a cylinder dogging on your exit device.
Okay, so undog it.
Correct? And then key probably just allows you entry, latch
Let's let it
retraction.
close. Can you let it close?
Well, I just want to check
It
things
doesn't
first.
turn. It
Yeah.
doesn't turn.
Okay, so I'm guessing this is an installation issue
Okay.
because my cylinder is starting to turn, but something's bound up in the exit device.
So
Basically, all this key is going to do is retract the latch and allow you entry. It
Okay,
will
so
not.
Jeff, who's that? Is that him?
No, that's Environmental Glass did the aluminum doors.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's an issue. Okay, I don't know
Correct.
if it was a key, but that's an installation. You got that?
So will the key unlock that door?
Yeah.
It will not. The key
Not
will allow you
permanent.
entry. It retracts the latch. This is storeroom, or what they call on an exit device, they call it night latch.
What do you want this key to do, this door? When you put the key in and unlock
I want to
it,
be able to open the door.
Right.
but it's not doing that now, you say?
Yeah,
But that-
he said
it's installation
He
issues.
just says installation.
Okay, put it wrong.
Yeah.
All
Right.
But I thought you just said that it was unlatching, but it's really not taking the,
I'm seeing
Tension.
the key turn over here slightly.
okay.
So I know that the cylinder is keyed, everything's operating.
But it's not bringing
Something's
the tension.
bound up with the exit device.
Okay.
And I understand that this can be on a timer.
If it's electric? Sure. Yeah,
Because
you have your access control
We will be
system.
able to access control and unlock.
And it'll
or lock
do
it
this.
when it's time for a board meeting. Because we
Sure.
want the public to come in and go right and not be able to go into the school.
Right. And in the event of no schedule, hey, we're having a meeting today, nobody wants to jump on the schedule, take your key,
And
dog it down.
Put it on the schedule.
Let's see what it is.
Wife and baby.
How you doing? What are you up to this morning?
Okay, so we're gonna do this. So it's starting to go, but I can't get by that switch. I love it, I saw that last time on one of these. How in the world they got to that screw?
So what's the?
Look, you got there's a switch here of some type. I don't know what these are, I haven't seen them before. You got a screw right behind it. The device and the cylinder aren't quite lined
This is
up.
in a way with that screw in the back, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, so I can't get to it to loosen it. So I've loosened the other 3 screws, and right now, see, my key starts to work, okay? That means my cylinder and my device are a little out of alignment,
Okay.
okay? So they need to loosen it up, open up the holes, realign things, and get it so that 360-degree rotation unlocks the door, okay? See, the door's open, okay? Put in the key, rotate 360 degrees, door's locked, stays locked. You can unlock it from the other side if you want, you can you can do it from the other side, okay? 360, and now unlock the door. Inside, always egress. Never lock this side of the door, it doesn't happen, okay? You're only locking.
It never.
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 Never. If I want, lockdown alarm goes off. Code word, schnookers.
Right.
I don't know because they get some fun ones.
I know, the pink Cadillac's in the parking lot.
There you go. Okay. Rotate that around. I'm still coming out. Door is still locked. Okay. That's another misconception. Make sure that they know when they lock this door and they go out this door, that door's still locked. Okay. Key locks and unlocks the door. All right. So very simple. That way they can lock down from the inside. Like I said, that's where some schools have put thumb turns on here, all because the teachers are like, you know, when they have a drill. So this is the common and the most used. All right. And the same thing, one side or the other, it will back around. Unlock the other side. Now it's unlocked. Now the thing they have to be a little wary or watchful of, when it is locked, the key will retract the latch, kind of like a storeroom lock, and let you in, okay? If this door is locked and the teacher comes in the morning, goes like this and walks in, guess what? It's still locked.
Right.
Okay? So they will have to be aware, hey, I've got to unlock my door, not treat it like a storeroom.
So
Okay.
who would need a key to just the exterior? I mean, why is there a separate key?
Typically, that key is going to be where? Where's the maintenance guy? Where's the outside key going to be? Well, it's usually in the knock box.
Oh, wrong
Is a
one,
mask.
sorry.
Okay, because the master would open all these, so is there another person that would just need exterior keys?
That's up to you
The fire
guys.
department would probably have to get we have to have a box out there, you'd have to get a key in there.
Now, what did you call it? A knock?
Knock box.
Now,
The
where
black-
is
the
that?
black-
The fire department box.
Okay.
That's usually on the outside of your
They
building.
have a-
There's 2 of them.
That's usually going to have the A. It's going to have a grand.
Yeah.
Here's one of the things. People do this all the time. You're thinking, why do I need a key for that door if it's operated by the master?
Hey, Randy, Jeff.
You never want to key doors to the master only. We don't recommend it at all, because if the time comes that somebody needs a key to this door,
The middle row of windows.
or your outside doors, you either give them a Grand Master, because that's all you keyed it to, or you give them the AA2, that's going to operate the outside door.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand, because there are 12 of those keys, so I'm thinking, like, who's going to get a key to all 12 keys?
You may not need, they may hang in your box for the rest of your
We
life.
might just, yeah, we might just make that amount.
Just because we specified
How
some
many
of
lock boxes
them,
are out?
or
We
the,
got 3 knock spots.
Not 3 of them?
Yeah.
So we have to have
12
3 keys
exit
on
doors.
site.
so you have 3
12 exit door
grands.
keys.
But are there 12 exit doors in the whole building?
One,
They probably
two,
gave you 2 keys for each lock, for each exit door.
No, there's a whole bunch.
14,
There's a whole bunch.
it's more than-
Somebody just picked a number.
Right.
You know, our office may have, the salesman may have, he may have said, give me 10 of these, 10 of these, 15
Well,
of
that's probably
these.
right, though, Dr. Wilson, you've got probably 6 or 7 of us with keys, and then probably 3 for the boxes outside. So you only have maybe a few keys left over.
But why would you need this key if you got a Grand Master?
Right, but if you needed to give somebody a key That way you have, we include the key set
Got it.
so that when the need comes, you don't have to hand out a grandmaster to a door.
Got it.